All right, we are here with Gloucester Mayor Gregg Verga and the Planning Director Gregg Cademartori, and I'm going to call Gregg Verga Mr. Mayor, and I'm going to call Gregg Cademartori Gregg. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being with us this morning. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having us. Good morning.
Mr. Mayor, a press release out of your office yesterday that knocked my socks off happily. Could you kind of recap that for us?
Yeah, so, well, I guess it knocked your socks off happily because you were all set in terms of this. So this was a press release relating to the Gloucester Community Electricity Aggregation. We've been hearing in the news, especially here locally with National Grid, our energy provider, that the rates were going to be jumping some 30%. As we talked about before we started recording, Rick, it's probably a little more than that for some people. But luckily for most Gloucester residents, this program went in place in 2016. I'm going to hand this over to Gregg shortly so he can go over some details. I was not in office at the time. It was between my stint on the city council and my becoming mayor. And as a resident, I jumped right on board and was happy to not opt out. And I was happy to see, checking my electric bill, that I am participating in this. So it's a good thing for Gloucester residents who are currently opted in. They're locked in until December 2024 at 11 cents per kilowatt hour. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Gregg, and we'll probably have a little back and forth, but Gregg's got some slides to share and he can give you a little intro about the program.
Sure. I'm just going to share my screen with a little presentation. And the good news about, and this is just a fabulous story. I think it's great because what we intended and developed, some back in 16, really has come to fruition at this point. And it goes to, there's a lot of hands that were in the development of this, past administrations, current administration, city councils, president and past, the Clean Energy Commission, which is really kind of very focused on these particular issues, because a big component of this program is also the renewable energy component that's a part of the supply agreement. And also our consultant that worked with us through 2 bid processes now for alternate supply agreements, Good Energy LP. And again, this is the news, hit us about a month ago now, or maybe 3 weeks, of the rates that are going to be charged from National Grid basic service customers at 33.891 cents a kilowatt hour, which is pretty extraordinary. I was on a call with somebody from National Grid. They were surprised themselves. I mean, it is a significant jump for folks. And unfortunately, they won't see it until their November billing cycle, or maybe even fully realize it until December because of where they might be, their billing date in the month. And the great news is, that we negotiated a rate that began in December of last year that runs for 3 years. It's a fixed rate at 11.071 cents per kilowatt. So everyone that's in the program, we always have to have a statement at the bottom that says guaranteed savings are not guaranteed. This looks like writing on the wall that if somebody's in the program, they're going to do really well this winter. It doesn't mean that electricity isn't still expensive, but if they're in the program, they're really at an advantage over anyone that's on the basic service rate. I just wanted to plug also Good Energy. They've been just an excellent partner in all of this, really, developing the program, which is not just about stabilizing energy costs, but also adding more renewable energy in the supplier's portfolio, so that folks that are in the program, they are supporting renewable energy beyond what's required by the state for the public utilities. Began at a 5% additional renewable energy in the portfolio, and this last contract, it was up to 10%, while the rate almost stayed the same. So again, a nice progression for folks doing their part, supporting renewable energy, and the mission of the city and through the Clean Energy Commission to try to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. I can talk about this for a long time because I've been involved with it, but I really want to make sure that listeners, if they're not in the program, all the information can be found at gloucester-cea.com, which is kind of the clearinghouse website for the program. If they go to the city website, and just type into the search. There's a visual of our city website. I always kind of encourage people, rather than trying to navigate through all of the drop-down menus, anything you're looking for, there's a large search tab right in the middle of the screen. Type in your topic, hit search, and you'll get links to probably very quickly what you're looking for. So again, the mayor had mentioned the background. This was a state enabled to be able to aggregate residential customers to try to improve the purchasing power of a community, and also have the ability to dictate to suppliers what the community is looking for. And in our case, we're looking for additional renewable options. There is also a 100% option as well. And all that information, people can make their choices about the different types of programs that they would like to engage in. And again, we're in our second contract. The last one was successful. At the end of the day, we know that every single account that was enrolled in the program saw savings. And we certainly look like we're heading on that trajectory, with the way things are currently. So also just wanted to provide a little visual for people to try to understand. They might not know if they're in the program or not. This is off of National Grid's website. This is a mock bill, and usually 2 pages, maybe a few more in between, showing the various charges over a month. But it's that second page that has the supply service portion. And in this case, this mock bill has an alternate supplier. And that's where you would really look to find out if you're in the program. That will either read National Grid Basic Service, or if you're in the program, it would read Gloucester CEA-Constellation New Energy, which is the supplier that won the last bid when we put it out the spring before it going into effect last December. So if folks are not in the program and they are curious about whether they are able to enroll in the program, there's a tab on the top of that CEA.com website, enroll and change. It'll take you through a very quick, minimal information that you have to provide, your billing address, your actual National Grid billing account, and a little bit more information. And then again, choosing the program and rate that you're looking for, which is the default is at 11.071 cents. And then you can go as for 100% renewable energy, which looks pretty competitive right now. If you were to go out on the market beyond just the National Grid basic service rate, that's going to be increased this winter. Many of those rates are in the teens and into the 20s. And all of a sudden, the 100% renewable option looks very competitive. And if there's any other questions, I would always encourage folks, if they are on an alternate supplier, understand what you're contracted to do. If your agreement runs, another year or 6 months or whatever it might be, there could be a penalty for breaking that contract if you wanted to enter the program. So understand what those charges might be and make your decision. You're a consumer. What the city has done is has provided just an additional option for people to consider. And if you have any questions, go to the support tab on the CEA website. You can either contact Constellation directly, which is the supplier, and then you can also email Good Energy, our consultant, as well, for more information. And I think that's what I've got.
Well, thank you. I had a million questions to ask, but I don't anymore. I'm really pleased. I think the thing I would emphasize is that when I first got this, I dug out an old bill to see if the supplier Gloucester CEA was on my bill, and it's quite evident where it is. So you know immediately whether you're on it or not, to let people know. And then the other thing would be to go to the Gloucester-CEA.com link to further your planning on this stuff and figure out what you want to do. But I think you nailed it, Greg. I appreciate it. You guys have anything else you want to mention?
Well, it's probably worth mentioning whether or not you're in the program. A way to save more energy is the other program we have going on right now with HomeWorks Energy through Mass Save to have home energy audits done. And there's opportunity to get discounts on heat pumps and other insulation improvements but Greg's probably a lot more up to date on that than I, so I'll hand that over to him.
Yeah, I before jumping off to that, I would say when we started to hear about the potential jump in the rates for this winter, the good news is, we have access to the number of accounts that are enrolled in the program. Over the last now 4 years, we've hovered just above and below 10,000 accounts, which is the majority of residential accounts. There are also some small business accounts. When you throw those all in, I think we're currently at around 11,000 accounts. So we don't expect to hear from a lot of people because I think they're in a great position if they're in the program. And it's really just trying to make sure that people that are not in the program have that information to make that decision whether or not it makes sense for them. They may have alternate supply agreements that were developed a couple of years back, and they might be in a good position as well, but I just want to make sure that people understand what their options are. And again, another campaign that we're working on right now, really through Gemma Wilkins, who works in my office and supports the Clean Energy Commission, is really making sure people understand also their options with Mass Save. It's a great program, to really understand a little bit more about your house, how you may be able to make it more efficient. They provide no cost home energy assessments. You can find a link through our city website to that as well. You can go to MassSave/Gloucester, or you can go to the Homeworks website as well. Wasn't fully prepared to plug that one as well, but Mayor brings up a great point. It's not just about the cost of energy, but it's also about things that you can do on your own to reduce your energy cost and your energy need.
Well,
And they will be going door to door. I don't know if you have the date of that, Greg, but we will have people going out door to door. They'll be have vests and or tags. They're all Corey checked through the police department. And when this is to sign people up for the audits. And that is all they're doing. This door to door is just to sign you up. So if someone knocks on your door and they want to get in your house and look and start an audit, or if they're asking for your energy bill, it's not our people. So beware of scams. I'm assuming you got the FAQ section in addition to the press release, Rick.
Yep.
Because the last page of that has
Yep.
more detail.
Yep, we have it here. And as I said, I'm going to link to all of that. And thanks to you two, you've made it perfectly clear. And it's nice to hear some good news for a change. So thank you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.